Well, I felt there were some disconnects generational disconnects. And I think the beginning of this started after we did the first movie, Searching for Lotus-Born Master, 8 Manifestations of Quantum Energy, in which we posed the question, is it possible that the founder of Tibetan Buddhism is the father of quantum physics? And we looked at the science behind his teachings and really the science behind all of this Vajrayana, and how it is so much involving energy, and so much of what we're now discovering was actually well understood in ancient times. The master gurus and the various Mahasiddhas all had the ability to work with vibrational frequency through mantra, the codification. All of this was well understood, and in many ways we're just rediscovering it. And to some extent that rediscovery may very well have come out of the 60s and 70s, when many of the hippies who were going around Nepal and India and learning from the gurus, and many of the teachers who were coming out of Tibet, went back and actually became the technology innovators and later tech moguls that they are today, and leaders of some of the new appliances or new technologies that we're using on a daily basis. And we did the first film, and I was in Bhutan, and Ashi Kasang Wangdruk, she's one of the princesses there, and she was having coffee with me. I'll never forget, we were in Ambient Cafe, that's my favorite coffee shop in Bhutan, and she said, hey, you've done something for us which is very important, because the youth in Bhutan are on their gadgets. They're like on their iPhones and on their, pads and all this stuff. And they're saying to the older generation, hey, you guys are, homaging to the guru and all that, but, that's all for you old people. Look, we're going to lead the world with technology, and they're ignoring the traditions. And suddenly you flipped all that, because you're saying without the guru, without Padmasambhava, there's no technology. He's basically the father of it. And so suddenly it's changed the whole mindset, and offered, would you like to do the next movie in Bhutan, which we did. That became then Return of Lotus-Born Master, decrypting the Dakini code. And so we've used technology language, like decrypting the code, encrypting the information into the cloud for termas. We've used a lot of tech language, and this resonates with young people. And we have to recognize that the old language, the language that we're using, is outdated. I mean, I have right here in this house, from our years of research, anything about Padmasambhava, original texts that have been translated into English. I got it. But and some of these translations are, meticulous. Some of the Western translators have done an incredible job. Their Tibetan knowledge is, exquisite. However, it's really boring to read. And if you want young people to read that, especially a generation that's basically flashing through stuff on Instagram or on Xiaohongshu, they don't have the time or interest. There's nothing to catch them. Even my son, who's a big sort of social media figure in LA, has said, Dad, if you can't catch him in the first second, you lose it. And so we've said we have to reach out in another way to the younger generation. And at the same time, I actually run a club in Beijing in a courtyard house like this, a traditional courtyard, which is actually a DJ club, music club, and it's full of young people. I think everybody who goes there is under 30, most are under 25. Very punk, underground crowd. We are often considered the underground club in Beijing. And I get to talk to them every night. I'm there on the weekends especially, and I learn their needs and their concerns. And manic depression is a pandemic. It's a global pandemic now, to a great extent, driven by the social media. It creates all kinds of artificial illusions of what's happening in the world, where you should be comparing with others. And it brings out all those sort of samsara qualities that, the guru would cut through with his teachings. So a lot of young people have come to me, they're depressed, some are on drugs, some are having family problems, depression is pandemic. And they come to me and they go, hey, you've been doing all this stuff in the Himalayas. How do we learn it? But they don't want to learn the way their parents learned. They don't want to sit there and do 100,000 prostrations, and they don't want to also chase after a Rinpoche and, give homage and, actually idolize a single figure. They're in a whole different mindset. Their mindset is far more, horizontal. And so by bringing bringing the teachings to them in new ways, creative ways, tech language, and, using music, using impulses that will stimulate them, that will draw them, that will, most important, to show them how these teachings can be used to make your life better, to be able to deal with all the problems out there, that this is not esoteric stuff that's out there on a cloud. You're not going to go to nirvana and fly in some cloud or something. Use it right now, at this moment. Live for the moment and make that moment work for you so the next moment is better. And with that way of approaching it, they're very open. And some of the students I have taught, some of the young people, really advance very quickly because their mind is open. They're open to all kinds of things. And if you can actually give them the right teachings in a way that they can receive them, they're going to move ahead really fast because they're armed with ideas and they're so open-minded. And so it's really, to me, very exciting to work with them and to see how Buddhism can evolve into the next generation in new and creative ways.